A renowned voice across many topics of history, Jon Sheldon Guttman has dedicated more than 30 years to writing about, editing, and researching subjects he is most passionate about, and has become internationally known for his expertise on aviation and the military. He has long served as the senior editor, researcher, and contributing writer for the Empire Press, now known as the World History Group, which publishes a wide range of history magazines such as Military History, America's Civil War, Civil War Times, Vietnam Magazine, Military History Quarterly, and Aviation History, among others. In addition, he lends his expertise as the research director for HistoryNet.com, an online resource that serves as an extension of the publication and features daily stories, photo galleries, and articles. Additionally, he has been published in the Canadian military magazine Esprit de Corps and the German magazine Flagger Review X. Attributing his successful career to a persistent focus on the job at hand and a lifelong talent for writing, Mr. Guttman has been immensely proud of making a living doing what he loves. Born in Flushing, New York, Mr. Guttman gravitated toward his eventual career path at an early age, as he would build models of World War I airplanes and read his father's old aviation magazines from the 1930s. Later on, he took a further step into the field by meeting some of the original pilots of these aircraft and having them sign underneath his models. From there, he began interviewing and writing articles about their experiences in the war. With a history-geared mind, Mr. Guttman pursued a higher education at the State University of New York at Albany, where he earned a Bachelor of Arts in History in 1973 and a Master of Arts in European History in 1975. Mr. Guttman launched his career as an artist at Divisional Ad Comp in Northvale, New Jersey from 1975 to 1981, and then served as a sales representative and manager at First Investors and an artist at Dynamic Graphics in the early 1980s. In the midst of art-oriented appointments, he enlisted in the New York Army National Guard, holding the posts of sergeant and recruiter there between 1984 and 1988. He continued in this capacity with the Virginia Army National Guard up until 2005, retiring as a Master Sergeant with, among other honors, 2 Army Commendation Medals, 3 Army Achievement Medals, a NATO Medal, a Virginia Emergency Service Ribbon, and a New York State Recruiter's Medal. Since 1988, Mr. Guttman has lived in Leesburg, Virginia, and worked as a writer, editor, researcher, photographer, and artist at HistoryNet, where he primarily fact-checks and copy-edits a litany of history magazines, occasionally contributing articles and book reviews of his own. While doing so, he also held the role of editor for Modern Warfare magazine from 1989 to 1990, Military History magazine from 1995 to 2006, gotten bylines for articles on naval history and military aviation in numerous publications, including Sea Classics, Windsock International, and British Heritage, and appeared as an expert on many TV shows, from The Daily Show on Comedy Central to Dogfights on the History Channel. Parallel to his editorial career, Mr. Guttman has penned and contributed to more than a dozen books, beginning with his debut work Defiance at Sea, which was published in 1995. Other titles have included Fighting Firsts, Fighter Aircraft Combat Debuts from 1914 to 1944, Bristol F-2 Fighter Aces of World War I, SPAD 7 Aces of World War I, Pusher Aces of World War I, Zeppelin vs. British Home Defense 1915 to 18, and Reconnaissance and Bomber Aces of World War I, among others. In addition, he has published several softback monographs, was an editor and co-author of Great Commanders in Action, and was both a contributing editor and a co-author of the book Desert Storm. In recognition of his substantial work as an aviation historian over the course of the last few decades, he won several Thornton D. Hooper Awards in 1988, 1991, 2008, 2016, and 2019. Mr. Guttman is also represented on the Wall of Honor at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. A devoted member of the League of World War I Aviation Historians, Cross and Cockade International, Western Front Association, and American Fighter Aces Association, Mr. Guttman served some years as Vice President of the London County Civil War Roundtable. Looking toward the future, he plans on retiring in the coming years, although he'll continue as a freelance writer. His latest book on World War I aviation, Aerial Foreign Legion, came out in 2021, and he is currently working on 2 more book projects.